We are starting a new unit today over graphing on a coordinate plane. This unit typically people like a lot. It's not that hard for them. So this right here is a coordinate plane. You have these lines. I'm going to tell you what those lines mean in a hot minute. So the very first thing we're going to look at is called our origin. Our origin, no matter which quadrant you're in, is where you're going to start. So my starting point, my origin on this coordinate plane is right here in the middle. If we just had this one, it's still right there in the middle. Okay, we're going to label this the origin. And its ordered pair is 0, 0. You have it moved over on the x-axis. You haven't gone up on the y-axis. So if I write it, you're writing it. So I said that 0, 0 was the ordered pair. So when you write an ordered pair, you will write it in x, comma, y. So however far you go over on the x-axis, and then how far you go up on the y. So with that, let's label, this is my x-axis. I'm going left or right for my x. You could also call it horizontally. You could also see them say move parallel to the x-axis 5 spaces. That just means you're moving this way, okay? So we're going to label this x-axis. Typically when I'm labeling them on a test, I'm just going to put x.
Yeah.
For now, you can go ahead and put x-axis though. Okay, and then we have our y. Our y-axis moves up and down. You're moving vertically, or you could also see it called move parallel to the y-axis 7 spaces. It means you're going up and down on the x or the y-axis. So I'm labeling this you can't see that, sorry. Y-axis. Once again, I typically just label it Y. I think it's very important to always label those points. What do you call a point that you're going to start at?
Origin.
The origin.
Yeah.
Everyone say origin.
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 What is the ordered pair of the origin?
0, 0.
0, comma 0. Very good. Okay. At the bottom it says x comes before y. One of the most misconceptions that I see when you are moving on a coordinate plane or you're writing ordered pairs is you switch the x and the y. We'll put the y first and then the x. So a good way to remember is like the alphabet. When you sing the alphabet, you say which letter first, x or y.
It's X and then Y, actually.
So when you sing the alphabet, x comes before y. So that's how you're going to write it as well. You could also call this. You could also see this called a coordinate grid. It's the same thing. One thing I do want to point out to you is there are 4 quadrants. So we have quadrant 1 here. In quadrant 1, both x and y are positive amounts. Please label this with me. And typically we do things clockwise, right? When we label. This we're going counterclockwise. So quadrant 2 is over here. In quadrant 2, your x is negative, your y is positive.
Those are the Roman numerals.
Those are Roman numerals, yes ma'am. That's how you'll see them. And then down below,
No.
you have quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, both your x and your y are negative amounts. And then quadrant 4, your x is positive, your y is negative. But in 5th grade, the only quadrant you are working with is quadrant 1.
We didn't get it already.
No, you don't have to do it. But next year, you will look at all 4 of them.
Oh no.
The same concepts apply. You move over on the x first, then up on your y.
We could have started this topic sooner.
What is it?
I said we could have started this topic sooner because now it's even closer to the end of the year and even closer to when we have to do all 4. And I don't even know how to do 1.
Well, we start with 1 first, so you can learn that, and then you move on. You build on it. In math, you build on your stuff that you learn in your
Yeah,
year.
but that's like going to 1 before.
Okay,
Why can't they
like I
just do
said,
2 and by 8th grade
Like
you're
I
doing
said,
4?
let's learn this. This concept applies to all of them. It's a lot easier than you're making it right now. Okay, so let's plot the point. Let's do 7, 4. 7 is your x or your y.
Oh,
That
it's
is-
your X.
okay,
X, 'cause
so
X is for
underneath I'm gonna label it.
Oh, it's not E.
My 4 is my x or my y.
Your Y. Wow.
Okay. So I'm gonna label that. So on my x, how many am I going over?
7.
Okay. So start my origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Am I plotting it right there? No, because my y is 4, right?
Yeah.
So now I need to go up my y. How many places? 4.
Oh, found it.
1, 2, 3, 4. That is your spot. We're gonna label that A.
I usually do the left side too.
What is
I
it?
just like go up from the left side.
Baby?
Like when you're at X, like the X axis, I go to the left axis. It's like
The X or the Y?
on X if it's 7, I'd go to the Y axis and I go up